Greetings, one and all, once again, back to Exploring Arda, a Tolkien-centered podcast where I am your host, Jackson, and I'll be going through a bunch of Tolkien's works other than Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And although I'll be reading kind of about Tom Bombadil, as this is going to be my next shorter series, I would say, and he does relate to, Lord of the Rings. He's in chapters of Lord of the Rings. I decided to kind of branch into that, just because it's his own adventures and it's still part of the Middle-earth history, I would say. But other than that, be sure to check out the rest of my channel, especially through Exploring Arda. I actually just finished Fall of Gondolin, so that was very fun. I read through Children of Húrin and The Fall of Númenor as well, so check those playlists out. And just check out the rest of my channel for some further support, because we're going to be starting actually some new stories. I'll be reading from Tales from the Perilous Realm, and this is, let's see if you can guys see it or not, Tales from the Perilous Realm book, but I will be reading through basically all the adventures of Tom Bombadil. So this is kind of new on the channel, as it is basically all poetry, especially, I think it makes sense because Tom Bombadil is always singing. He's always a cheerful guy, so it makes sense that all of his stories are in poetry form, if you want to say poetry form or poetic form. So yeah, we're gonna just kind of go right into it, and if I can show it, there are like little illustrations, if you guys can see it. This top page right here, there's Tom Bombadil at the top, and on the right side here you get Goldberry. So it's Tom and Goldberry here. But I think without me stalling any longer, we'll get right into the first story, which is just called The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. So, here we go. Old Tom Bombadil was a merry fellow. Bright blue his jacket was, and his boots were yellow. Green were his girdle, and his breeches all of leather. He wore in his tall hat a swan-winged feather. He lived up under hill, where the withy windle ran from a grassy well down into the dingle. Old Tom in summertime walked about the meadows, gathering the buttercups, running after shadows, tickling the bumblebees that buzzed among the flowers, sitting by the waterside for hours upon hours. There his beard dangled long into the water. Up came Goldberry, the river woman's daughter, pulled Tom's hanging hair, in he went a-wallowing, under the water lilies, bubbling and a-swallowing. "Hey, Tom Bombadil, whither are you going?" said fair Goldberry. "Bubbles you are blowing, frightening the finny fish and the brown water rat, startling the dabchicks and drowning your feather hat." "You bring it back again, there's a pretty maiden," said Tom Bombadil. "I do not care for waiting. Go down, sleep again where the pools are shady, far below willow roots, little water lady." Back to her mother's house in the deepest hollow swam young Goldberry, but Tom, he would not follow. On knotted willow roots he sat in sunny weather, drying his yellow boots and his draggled feather. Up woke Willow Man, began upon his singing, sang Tom fast asleep under branches swinging. And a crack caught him tight, snick, it closed together, trapped Tom Bombadil, coat and hat and feather. "Ha, Tom Bombadil, what be you a-thinking, peeping inside my tree, watching me a-drinking? Deep in my wooden house, tickling me with feather, dripping wet down my face like rainy weather. You let me out again, old man Willow. I am stiff lying here, there's no sort of pillow. Your hard crooked roots, drink your river water, go back to sleep again, like the river daughter." Willow Man let him loose when he heard him speaking, locked fast his wooden house, muttering and creaking. Whispering inside the tree, out from Willow Dingle, Tom went walking up the withy windle. Under the forest eaves he sat, while the wit listening. On the boughs piping birds were chirping and whistling. Butterflies above his head went quivering and winking, up great clouds, until great clouds came up as the sun was sinking. Then Tom hurried on. Rain began to shiver, round rings spattering in the running river. A wind blew, shaken leaves, chilly drops were dripping. Into a sheltered hole old Tom went skipping. Out came Badger Brock, with his snowy forehead, and his dark blinking eyes in the hill he quarried. With his wife and many sons by the coat they caught him, pulled him inside their earth, down their tunnels, brought him. Inside their secret house, there they sat, a mumbling. Ho, Tom Bombadil, where have you come tumbling? Bursting in the front door, badger folk have caught you. You'll never find it out, the way we have brought you. Now, old Badger Brock, do you hear me talking? You show me out at once, I must be a-walking. Show me to your back door under briar roses, then clean grimy paws, wipe your earthy noses. Go back to sleep again on your straw pillow, like fair Goldberry and old man Willow. Then all the badger folk said, We beg your pardon. They showed Tom out again in their thorny garden, went back and hid themselves, a shivering and a shaking, blocked up all their doors, earth together raking. Rain had passed, the sky was clear, and in the summer gloaming, until old Tom Bombadil laughed as he came homing. Unlocked his door again, and opened up a shutter. In the kitchen round the lamp, moths began to flutter. Tom through the window saw waking stars come winking, and the new slender moon early westward sinking. Dark came under hill. Tom he lit a candle. Upstairs creaking went, turned the door handle. Ho, Tom Bombadil, look what night has brought you. I'm here behind the door, now at last I've caught you. You forgotten Barrow-wight, dwelling in the old mound, up there on hilltop, with the ring of stones around. He's got loose again, under earth he'll take you. Poor Tom Bombadil, pale and cold he'll make you. Go out, shut the door, and never come back after. Take away gleaming eyes, take your hollow laughter. Go back to grassy mound on your stony pillow. Lay down your bony head, like old man Willow. Like young Goldberry and badger folk in burrow. Go back to buried gold and forgotten sorrow. Out fled Barrow-wight, through the window leaping, through the yard, over wall like a shadow weeping. Uphill wailing went back to leaning stone rings, back under lonely mound, rattling his bone rings. Old Tom Bombadil lay upon his pillow, sweeter than Goldberry, quieter than the willow, snugger than the badger folk or the barrow dwellers, slept like a humming top, snored like a bellows. He woke in morning light, whistled like a starling, sang, Come, dairy dole, merry dole, my darling. He clapped on his battered hat, boots and coat and feather, opened the window wide to the sunny weather. Wise old Bombadil, he was a wary fellow. Bright blue his jackets was, and his boots were yellow. None ever caught old Tom in upland or in dingle, walking the forest paths or by the withy windle, or out by the lily pools in boat upon the water. But one day Tom, he went and caught the river daughter, in green gown, flowing hair, sitting in the rushes, singing old water songs to birds upon the bushes. He caught her, held her fast, water rats went scuttering, reeds hissed, herons cried, and her heart was fluttering. Said Tom Bombadil, Here's my pretty maiden, you shall come home with me, the table is all laden. Yellow cream, honeycomb, white bread and butter, roses at the window sill and peeping round the shutter. You shall come under hill, never mind your mother, in her deep weedy pool, there you'll find no lover. Old Tom Bombadil had a merry wedding, crowned all with buttercups, hat and feather shedding. His bride, with forget-me-nots and flag lilies for garland, was robed all in silver green. He sat like a starling, hummed like a honey-bee, lilted to the fiddle, clasping his river maiden round her slender middle. Lamps gleamed within his house, and white was the bedding. In the bright honeymoon badger folk came treading, danced down under hill, and old man Willow tapped at window pane as they slept on the pillow. On the bank in the reeds, river woman sighing, heard old Barrow-wight in his mound crying. Old Tom Bombadil heeded not the voices, taps, knocks, dancing feet, all the nightly noises. Slept till the sun arose, then sang like a starling. Hey, come, dairy dole, merry dole, my darling. Sitting on the doorstep, chopping sticks of willow, while fair Goldberry combed her tresses yellow. And that is the adventures, the first adventures of Tom Bombadil. So, there is quite a bit, I would say, quite a bit of references that some may or may not have caught. Basically, I would say this first adventure of Tom Bombadil is him literally just going throughout the forest, and what I assume to be the Old Forest, because it's the Withy Windle, and that's basically where the hobbits, end up finding, and they find Old Man Willow in the chapter. I think it's like Fog on the Barrow Downs, and at the house of Tom Bombadil, those whole chapters, the Old Forest chapters. So all of Tom's adventures here are based, I would say, in this old forest. And this is still when the Barrow-wights are still a thing. So either the Hobbit folk have not come yet, and he's kind of dealing with the Barrow-wights as like a regular thing, or I mean, the hobbits are probably still, or the hobbits are there, and he knows of their existence. It's just they haven't really gone into the old forest. But it's really cool to kind of see the Barrow-wights again. I really like, I don't know why, I just like the entities of what the Barrow-wights are. I do like the, let's see here, the lines that, look what night has brought you. I'm here behind the door. Now at last I've caught you. You forgotten Barrow-wight dwelling in the old mound, up there on hilltop with the ring of stones round. It's actually really, really cool, where it's like they hide in the shadows. Even they're trying to catch Tom, because I feel like the Barrow-wights are always after something that's like pure and almost divine. I would say almost divine, because Barrow-wights are kind of like cursed to that hill, that the Barrow-wight, the mounds, I guess, the Barrow Downs. There you go. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see Old Man Willow again, basically trapping Tom within his roots. But then Tom's just like, no, can you just not do that and let me out, please? So, and it also kind of reminds me a little bit of. I know that in the movies they actually portrayed it pretty well in the extended version with Merry and Pippin in Fangorn, and I always imagined Old Man Willow kind of acting like that, where he kind of twists his roots together to trap people, because it's like, oh well, it's Old Man Willow's territory or something like that, and he's just trying to like defend his own place, I suppose, his own territory. And then of course there's Goldberry, which she ends up being Tom's wife. And she's the river, the river daughter, I think it was, if I remember correctly, if I can remember the place. Yeah, the river woman's daughter. So I always kind of just assume that she's the river daughter. I feel like oh yeah, there it is. Go back to sleep again, like the river daughter. So it's really cool. With Tom and Goldberry, he does so much for Goldberry. he loves her so much, especially because this is a little weird, where it's like Old Man Willow is like tapping at the window pane as they slept like in their house after the wedding. So that's like, it's a little weird, but okay. But then Tom's just like, nah, don't bother with that, and he still's happy, still is singing along his come dairy dole, merry dole, my darling. So he loves Goldberry. And then the thing with the badgers too, where it's like he just stumbles upon a badger den, and the badger's like, got you now, and then Tom's like, no, you gotta lead me out, because I got places to be, which he probably doesn't, but it's Tom. He is in control, which actually throughout this whole first story you see that Tom's power is over everybody, even those who don't even mean him harm. So, he has power over Goldberry, he has power over the badgers, he has power over the Barrow-wights. So all these snags that he hits along the way, along his adventures, he just tells them just to like knock it off. And they do it. So that's how much power Tom has. And I could also go into, further, I guess, I wouldn't say rumors, topics and theories of who Tom really is, because he has so much power, and he has like the aversion to the ring in Lord of the Rings, which is crazy. So, but other than that, it was a good like first introduction to what the Adventures of Tom Bombadil is. So I'll be reading through a lot of these short stories, short poems for you guys. So these will be a lot shorter than the regular 40-50 minutes that I usually do for the grand stories. So this is kind of a little filler to, literally fill in the space between now and a bigger story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, the first adventure of Tom Bombadil. I definitely love going back to reading his poetry. So just this whimsical guy just kind of prancing through the forest and doing whatever he wants. So But yeah, let me know how I did with the poetry reading. First of all, sometimes I can't really get that rhythm because I know sometimes it's based on rhythm. Most of Tolkien's poetry is like very rhymey, so that I kind of pick up along the way. But yeah, if you guys have any like theories of Tom and who he is and how he is and all that stuff and what he is, yeah, just feel free to leave it in the comments. Be sure to check out my channel again, like I said, for further support. Also, I do have a book published called The Lands of Ordia, Power of Heaven. That's on Amazon. I would appreciate that very much. And I think with all that being said, I think just stay tuned for another episode. And may the light of Elbereth be with you all. Farewell.